Hello and welcome to the Mangum News Palm Sunday Special. I'm your host, Elijah Mangum. This week we'll be discussing the confirmation of Ketanji Brown Jackson to the U.S. Supreme Court, Governor Tate Reeves signing a state income tax cut, ProLife Mississippi's annual spring banquet, my review of Moon Knight Episode 2, a read-through of the triumphant entry, and my exclusive interview with the editor of Mississippi Christian Living magazine, Katie Eubanks. Without further ado, let's begin. Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson was confirmed to the U.S. Supreme Court on Tuesday. The Senate voted in favor of Jackson 53-47. Now Justice Jackson will be the first black woman to serve on the U.S. Supreme Court when she succeeds Justice Stephen Breyer at the end of the session. On Friday, she delivered remarks at the White House following her confirmation.
It has taken 232 years and 115 prior appointments for a black woman to be selected to serve on the Supreme Court of the United States. But we've made it.
But today we get the opportunity to sign the largest single tax cut in our state's history into law. This is a tremendous victory, and it will make a massive impact on the lives of Mississippians, and it will make a tremendous impact on our economy for years and years to come.
On Tuesday, Governor Tate Reeves signed the largest state income tax cut in Mississippi state history. The bill will be returning over $500 million back to the state's taxpayers. It will do so in part by eliminating the 4% tax bracket on the first $5,000 in income in the first year, reducing the top marginal rate from 5% to 4% over the next 3 years. Following the signing, the 2022 legislative session came to a close. ProLife Mississippi held their annual spring banquet at the Mississippi Trademark on Thursday night. Here's ProLife Mississippi president with the details.
This is ProLife Mississippi Spring Banquet. It's our annual fundraising event every single year. This is where we do a majority of our fundraising. We focus on supporters, inviting them all to be together. It's the one time every year that all of them gather together in one place for one unifying thing, is to defend life and to stand for the sanctity of human life. At the spring banquet, we all gather together. Some tradition has it that we always have a silent auction to help our fundraising efforts. We all just sit down and eat. We have a keynote speaker that encourages us to stand for life, usually different issues. But tonight, Marianne Koharski with ProLife Across America, ProLife Across America does the billboard images that a lot of the ones that we use here in Mississippi as a positive message, encouraging moms and promoting the sanctity of life. That life is precious no matter what.
Speakers at the banquet included President Knight, keynote speaker Marianne Koharski, and more. There were also musical performances and a ballet number by Ballet Manipacat.
Well, my name is Marianne Koharski, and I'm the director of ProLife Across America. We're known as the Billboard People. We've been in business for 34 years as a nonprofit, non-political educational organization, and our primary purpose is education through the media. So we put up about 10,500 to 12,000 billboards a year. We also do radio ads, we do TV streaming when we can afford it, and we do ads on the internet as well. All of our ads offer a hotline number that people can call if they suspect a pregnancy, if they need confidential counseling, if they need medical services, or if they've had an abortion. We want to help them as well. And so I'm delighted to be invited to ProLife Mississippi. We have a wonderful support group here who are now doing billboards as well. And we're partnering with them. We in Pro-Life Across America are partnering with Pro-Life Mississippi to get the message out to as many people as possible. Well, I was invited by Pro-Life Mississippi, and I'm honored to be their keynote speaker to, I would say, just be their cheerleader to say, you know, what we do, we know not only changes hearts, but it saves babies' lives as well. So often people don't know that there's alternatives to abortion or that there's all sorts of help available. And that's our message, is to get that out to the public, that we want to help both the mother and the baby. We don't sacrifice one for the other. We help them both. And that's what Pro-Life Across America is all about. And that's what Pro-Life Mississippi is all about.
Finally, the first annual Joyce Capricci Scholarship was awarded to two students, Maya Vomirsky of Madison and Lily Crosby of Gulfport. Moon Knight Episode 2 succeeds with another great performance from Oscar Isaac as both the heroes' personalities. We also get some great reveals that answer our most asked questions from the premiere. Overall, I'll give it an 8.5 out of 10. Now when they drew near to Jerusalem, to Bethphage and Bethany, at the Mount of Olives, he sent two of his disciples, and he said unto them, Go into the village opposite you, and as soon as you have entered it, you will find a colt, tied on which no one has sat. Loose it and bring it. And if anyone says to you, Why are you doing this? Say, The Lord is in need of it. And immediately he will send it here. So they went their way and found the colt tied by the door outside on the street, and they loosed it. But some of those who stood there said unto them, Why are you loosening the colt? And they spoke to them just as Jesus had commanded them. So they let them go, and then they brought the colt to Jesus, and they threw their clothes on it, and he said unto it, and many spread their clothes on the road, and others cut down leafy branches from trees and spread them on the road. Then those who went before and those who followed cried out, Hosanna! Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. Blessed is the kingdom of our father David that comes in the name of the Lord. Hosanna in the highest. And Jesus went into Jerusalem and into the temple. So when he had looked around at all the things, as the hour was already late, he went out to Bethany with the 12. So can you describe your career as a journalist and now as an editor?
Well, I finished school at Ole Miss, got a degree in print journalism, which I don't know if they even offer anymore, but a degree in print journalism with a magazine emphasis. And when I finally got my first big girl job, it was at the Northside Sun newspaper in Jackson as a staff writer. So there were two staff writers. One covered Northeast Jackson and I covered South Madison County. So I wrote news and features. I was there for 4 years, and then I was hired by the Clarion Ledger, and I ran Magnolia magazine, which was under the Clarion Ledger. And then they wound up cutting the magazine, but I stayed on as features editor, which is the same kind of content. I just didn't get to put it in a glossy publication anymore. But I did that. So I was at the Clarion Ledger for 3 years, and then was approached by the owner and founder of Mississippi Christian Living about buying the business, which I did at the end of August 2018. And I've been there ever since.
All right, can you describe what sort of, now that you are the editor of Mississippi Christian Living magazine, can you describe sort of the day in the life of Katie Eubanks and, you know, what you do there and what the magazine does?
So every day is different. I'm in charge of planning the content, and I run the business as well. So I enjoy the content part more than the business part. But so I'm in charge of the content. I run the business. I do make a few sales calls. I'm trying to get to where I do as few of those as possible. But I mean, there is no typical day unless it's the end of the month. If it's the end of the month, then we're working on the magazine, on layout and proofreading and getting all of that finished. So usually the last Monday and Tuesday morning of the month, I'm proofreading and just like really zoned in doing that constantly until it's done. But otherwise, I mean, like I filled out my April desk calendar the other night and it's already full of stuff. So, I mean, it's everything from lunch meetings to meeting someone who won a prize for taking our market survey online to doing sales to setting up photo shoots to figuring out if we're going to have a women's retreat this fall and what the theme should be, and planning some cover stories for the fall that I haven't planned yet, to writing and interviewing. I mean, it's everything. But I kind of like that because I like some routine, but if it's too routine and the same all the time, I get bored. So.
But the final question for this interview is, what would be your advice to a Christian entering the field of journalism?
That's a really good question. I think probably one thing I would say is for any job you take or that you're considering, think what your mission would be as a believer in that particular job, and try not to deviate from that mission if you choose to accept it, because there's, we like to think that the news is objective and you're just giving people the facts and that's it. But we all know that in this day and time, that's hard. And it's hard anyway. It's hard personally. It's hard to be objective as a reporter. I found it hard. And it's hard to even choose what stories to report on without there being some kind of bias. And so whoever you're working for is going to have some kind of bias, like even if they're trying really hard not to. And so it's hard sometimes to separate your faith from your work, and really you shouldn't have to. And so that's what it comes down to, for me. So I would just say, like, looking at the job you would be doing and the people you're working for and their bias, whatever it is, right, left, center, up, down, would it conflict with what you feel like your mission should be as a believer in journalism, as a Christian in journalism? And that's hard, but, I think it's doable. But I think sometimes, as believers, we have to make sacrifices, and sometimes we have to say no to stuff, even if there are consequences.
That's all we have for this week. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Thanks for watching, and we'll see y'all on Easter Sunday.